Welcome to Yellow Skunk Farms, everybody. Quick disclaimer, this is a 21-year-old and up channel, so if you're not 21 years or older, please leave now. Thank you. This is day 4 of the veg. So we just brought these, hopefully, ladies in 4 days ago. We just cut the bottom of these cow pots off. And I put some pea gravel in on top of them from the creek just to keep, just a little mulch layer on top of here to keep that moisture from evaporating off too much. You can see that the pot is plenty wet. It's all moisture right there. It's dry here, wet down there. So, but the bottom of the pot is off. We just stuck it down in there a little bit, and they will take off. Eventually, what we'll end up doing is these plants get bigger, they'll fill out this pot a little bit, and we'll just peel this cow pot off, pile up some new dirt around it, and be good to go. This is we do this just so we can transfer without having to dig a deep hole, without the transplant shock. So all I do is cut the bottom of the pot off, move a little bit of this mulch, move a little bit of the soil around, stick it down in there, push the soil and mulch back up around it, add a little bit of pea gravel to the top to stabilize, and yeah, that's it. Once these things get down in there and root in, it's game over. I don't know what this is. Like something took a shit on my leaf here. Maybe I can rub that off. I don't know what that is. But you can see we're starting to see growth. Nice tight nodes on this. Definitely starting to see some growth on the top. You can see those new nodes coming out, that lime green look. That lime green is just new growth. But we don't look for perfection in here. That's one thing we don't do. I am not looking for perfect plants. I do expect pest damage. I expect a little bit of thrip damage here and there. As long as they don't get out of hand, they're welcome to be in here. When they get out of hand is when things get out of balance. But thrips are food for other critters in here, as long as, like I said, they don't get out of hand. If they start to see them get out of hand, we can always, excuse me, I just had a black soldier fly right in my face. What was I talking about? What's up, Pooter? Oh yeah, the thrip damage. Thrips or spider mites or anything like that. I have seen thrip damage on the last run. Nothing major. It was mainly over there near that dog fennel on that one plant over there. What I did was spray some labs and some compost extract. So I mixed a little compost extract from my IMO 4, I believe it was. Yeah, IMO 4, and a little bit of lactic acid bacteria in with that. And we just spray the trees, I spray the dog fennel. And that usually helps a lot with any type of pest. It's the biology in the compost. It's the biology, the lab biology. It's that living biology that gets on those leaves and makes the plant healthy. It also, I don't know if it kills the thrip, but it definitely, the thrip doesn't like it. It deters it. Once that thrip gets off the plant, gets down in the soil, it doesn't stand a chance. All the other critters will eat those thrips right on up. The mites and everything else that's in there, who knows what's in there. It's like a jungle down there right now. So anything out of the ordinary, like any bad guys that come along, or it comes from fungus or anything like that, the good guys will come along and knock them out. And the good guys are like the lactic acid bacterias, the trichoderma, the bacillus subtilis, all these different types of bacteria and fungi. They're the good guys that will help these plants ward off any type of disease or pests. Hopefully we've got the nutrient balance right. So if when we get the biology right, and then the biology gets the nutrient, we get the nutrient and the biology right, the biology will eat the nutrient and release it to the plant. It's really that simple. It's very complicated, so I don't even like to get in. I'm not a scientist, but I like to stick to the basics. And the basics will take you all the way as far as you want to go. Because we're not in control here. I'm not in control here. The biology is. All I have to do is maintain balance. And how do I do that? Is simply by stewarding the bed, not letting one thing get out of hand. And when I see something starting to get out of hand, we knock it out real quick. And then knowing and having the knowledge on knowing what to do when we see something bad happening is everything. That's where 3-4 years I never stop learning. I'm always, you can ask my wife when she comes into the house, YouTube has some type of educational. It's not based in cannabis, it's based in nature. Like, I want to know how nature works. I want to know how healthy plants grow. And that healthy, we're learning. I mean, not people like me, but people in the industry and science. They're all learning this stuff. People like Mo from I Grow Soil, he's one of my favorites that I follow. Look at that spider chilling in between. But he's also helping me learn the microbes that are in the soil, not just how to build soil, but actually being able to see it and look at it and dive deep into it and know what's good, what's bad. Hey, we're seeing this when I do this. I'm not seeing this when I do this. It's an experiment that'll never end, which is so cool to me. You can do that for the rest of your life and always be learning. And that's what's cool about this. And I'll never strive for perfect. I don't want perfect plants. I want the system to be balanced. Like if I get damage from a thrip, like this leaf right here, I see that. I'm not worried about that. I know that plant, once it gets set in and starts to dial itself in and balance itself into the system, that plant's going to grow big, and that leaf is going to matter nothing. It's not going to affect. Just think about when you go outside into a garden. Are all the leaves perfect? No, they're not. Because it's nature. And that's how I set this system up. A lot of people want a perfect plant. They want to see it perfect, but perfection does not produce perfection. It just doesn't. I mean, if you're born into it and you're perfect all the way up through, you don't know the struggle. You've never struggled in your life. Therefore, that's just the way I look at it. You know what I mean? That's just my vision of what I see when I'm looking at something like this. Is nothing in nature is perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody on this planet's perfect. I'm not going to strive. I'm going to do my best to give them what they need. But if something happens and they get a disease and they wither up and die, the bed is still here. The plant moves on. New ones come in. That's the cycle of life. And I'm not going to worry about one particular plant. what I'm going to worry about is why the plant died, and if I think it's just genetics, if the one right beside it's doing fine and the one next to it is just not doing well at all, it could be just the genetics of the plant. It never was going to do well because the rhizosphere doesn't have the seed, and once that seed's popped and it creates a rhizosphere, the root system, sometimes that root system is just defective. Just like everything that's born. You know, sometimes it's got a defect. Doesn't mean it can't live a fruitful life, a happy life, and give you what you want. Just means it's not going to look like the rest. And I know that's not exactly how things work when it comes to cannabis, but in the grand scheme of things, that's how this whole project is meant to be. It's meant to be, you know, a long-term thing. Cannabis is an annual plant. It's not going to be here for 4 months, you know, 4 or 5 months. That's it. It can do its thing and move on. This is one reason why we leave the root system. So we cut that. This is the stump from the last one, or just one of them. You can see that we leave that much of it. And the reason we do is because I want this thing to continue to draw water. I want those roots down there to draw that water up into here. It's going to make it easier for the biology to break down this wood. And you can see they're already probably down there working on it. I can feel it, it's pretty loose, but that's going to create that air channel down there. Going to allow all those critters to be moving around, be able to breathe, and break that root zone down, sending it back to the soil, or turning it into soil. Yeah, here's the other one. It will not take long. It'll take less than a month. We'll come over here and that thing will just go blip, pop right on out. Here's the old one. Here's the old one. That's the top of it. That was where it was going into and it will just completely turn into soft wood and then be broken down completely by the bacteria and fungi and critters and microbes and everything else that's down there. We'll just completely break this down, break this one down. You can see the one over there. It'll completely be broken down. We'll also allow those roots to go down in there and keeping those air channels open, allowing the soil to breathe. This is the center where we had the problem. This is where the problem was, right down here. It was wicking in water right there. All that soil was built up all through here, and it was just piled up all up through here, and it was just wicking a tremendous amount of water up into the bed. And we had that droopy. That was where droopy was. So droopy was just waterlogged. Couldn't breathe, couldn't suck up nutrients. It was doing all it could to survive, but I think that was a good thing because we were creating seeds on droopy. And droopy created a lot of seeds, and it was pungent seeds. I mean, they were huge, big, fat seeds. And I think the reason is because that plant was putting all its energy into making sure that it was going to push those seeds out. So it drooped and it sucked up all its leaf nutrients as fast as it was the first one to finish, and it was supposed to be one of the longest ones, but it was one of the first ones to finish. And I think that's why, because it was struggling and it knew it had to move on, so it just took all its energy, put it into the seeds, and then just withered away. Unlike the one that was over here that was doing just fine, looked great, still looked like it could go on another 2 weeks, but the seeds were done. Look at the elephant ears popping out nibs. We had another one over here that was, yep, this one here is always popping out noobs. You can see it's got a little bit of, looks like fungal damage, which is probably just too much water. It's right here by the creek. We can always pour a little bit of lab down there and help with the fungal issue. You see here. We just pop these leaves off and set them on top of here and just let them wither away. They'll turn into this here. And just let them sit there and wither away. Do what nature does. Here's the old stump. This one's in there, but it will go on away from here quickly. Look at the moisture. Still sucking water up out of the ground. That's a good thing. If it didn't, all that extra water would rush down to the horizon. I mean, into our E horizon, down where, like you see it over there, and the other down to that sand, silt, and clay, where it would sit there until these roots got big enough and deep enough to start wicking that water up, and that's when they'll take off. This lucky bamboo is crazy. This was the first piece. This one, that one, and then that one down there, the lucky bamboo. Those were the first 3 plants we put in the system, in the creek anyway. And everything else, the grass, there was a little piece of grass off of that one we put in there. That's from the pond out here, the outdoor pond. So that sits in the waterfall area on the outdoor pond. I just took a piece of that, stuck it in there, and you see what happened. It just took off. It's taking off, taking up the whole end here. Lots of shrimp up in there. That's the initial drop point for the pond water. This is where a lot of that gets filtered out right there. That grass is catching a lot of that poo, then the rest of the extra comes on down, gets caught by the algae. We got the Chemi Pure bag in there. That's what we just cleans the water, helps us. Biochar basically is all it is. Biochar and some clays and some polymers and different things that have a lot of surface area. And you just set those down in there. You can see the snails working that algae. All those little baby creek snails, thousands of them. Those are baby creek snails. So these are great to clean the water. I have this sitting like right here, just so that water comes down and hits it, filters through here, helps clean the water. Along the algae really helps clean the water. Then we take this algae a lot of times and we'll just pick it up. It grabs all that poo, and bring it right over here, and put it in the soil. It's easy peasy. That keeps all the critters fed. Everybody's happy. And if the critters and microbes are happy, I'm happy. That's really what we're farming here. We're farming microbes, and the microbes can then farm for us. They will create the nutrient by breaking down the sand and the silt and the clays, everything that's in this down at the bottom, the clay, I mean, to the electricity being built. I mean, the science is crazy complicated, but the basics are simple. It's a poop loop. Things go in, they get cycled, and then they come out. Something has to eat, just like when I put some food in my mouth, I gotta chew it up. So before I drop anything in this bed, I'm gonna break it up because it's easier to digest, it's easier for them to eat. And then as they eat it, they poop. And like inside of a worm casting is going to be microbes, just like bacteria and all kinds of crazy stuff. Whatever I'm eating is going to come out my poo. Same with the turtle, same with the fish, same with the worm, same with the roly-polies, all the way down to the bacteria and fungi. That's the poop loop end. Everything in between is eating bacteria and fungi. When I mean fungi, I don't mean mushrooms coming up out. I mean the actual fungi that's like mycorrhizal fungi. That's inside a root cellular wall. Like these things are microscopic. You can't see mycorrhizal fungi. You have to see it in a microscope. These are tiny, tiny little spores that, if given the right conditions, will grow into mycorrhizal fungi, attach themselves to the roots, and then the system goes on. The problem with the cannabis plant is it's only here for 4 months, so that mycorrhizal fungi has to be present or added to at seed in order for it to take effect. Maybe a little, once it's grown and, it's 4 months in or 3 months in, may get a little benefit from mycorrhizal, but, that stuff has to be here. And if you're constantly removing the plant, putting it back, removing, putting it back, that mycorrhizal doesn't have a chance. Well, if we have these plants here, the bush, it's always here. The grasses that are always here. The different types of grasses, different types of bushes, plants that are always here, growing roots, connecting mycorrhizal fungi to one another, creating a internet web of fungi that's throughout the system, which cannot be built if we keep tilling and pulling up the soil. So once we keep it there, let it do its thing, feed it so it can be fed, so it can eat and continue on its journey of building, just like we would build a city. If somebody has to be the mayor of the city, mayor of this city is me, and it's up to me to maintain the water, maintain electricity, maintain the fundamental basics for everything else to do whatever it is they want to do. I'm the police, so if I see something getting out of hand, we can add in some good guys to help out and take care of the bad. Usually that's a condition issue, so if the conditions got bad in here, temperature got too high, things start to go bad things happen. It starts to get too cold, bad things happen. It's our job to balance the system. Once the system is balanced, it's off to the races. And with that being said, I want to check out Digger real quick. I'm getting ready to cut out. Look at Digger. I mentioned your name and there you are. What's up, bud? He's finally starting to recognize me, I think. He's a baby. So he's very skittish. He's usually hiding. But I have been feeding him every once in a while. Every few days I'll drop a worm in there on him. I think he's finally realizing that when he sees me, he's like, hey, last time a worm appeared when you showed up. Look at him. Did you just yawn? Are you tired? You just wake up? Did you just wake up, Digger? Digger's our eastern box turtle, a rescue. He is documented. Then we've got Cooter and Scooter, which are 2 farm raised. There's Cooter coming up here now, born in captivity. There's Plinko, our algae eater, gonna get big. And with that being said, we're gonna cut on out of here. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Hope everybody has a great Saturday. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.